We are approaching zone 3 at the Tampa Hertz section. So it looks like we got a Corolla, kind of like those things. We got a Volkswagen of some kind, that's kind of scary. Hyundai, that's kind of scary. Kia, I think I rented that Kia in Virginia one time. So here's the main thing I will say about these is that they're about the highest quality item a rental car company is ever going to give you. And I feel that way even more about the Corollas and the Camrys. And I have rented them too. And for some reason, I just have more of an attachment to these, even though normally I like bigger cars. These cars, ergonomics are good. The visibility is good. I mean, like really good, like unusually good. I like that this car has not an all black interior. It's not like old man tan, but they did a good effort kind of splashing in some kind of like grayish along with the black, so it's not just completely stark. You got some soft touch on the dash there. You've got these windows and the way that this thing is laid out, and the way that you've got this little kind of secondary window right here, these have always felt to me like they have really good visibility. They handle well, they ride well, they're easy to drive quickly, and the materials quality is just unusually high. I was driving this car last night with a coworker of mine. The rental company actually gave him a BMW SUV. And he got in this car last night and he was like, this thing's honestly better. Like this BMW SUV, it's like, here's what I realized. Fancy cars have jumped the shark in a way. By the time it's gotten to the point where an average person can't get into a new luxury car and figure out how to park it, how to place the vehicle in park, how to stop the vehicle, how to exit the vehicle, how to turn on and off the lights and wipers. What does that have to do with this Corolla? Well, all the controls are physical, and they held on to physical controls in these things longer than most companies did. Most cars, the shifter and the key are both old-timey physical. They are, I mean, just as nice and high quality as it can be. But here's my thing. When I'm in a strange place in a rental car, I have the muscle memory, and these are physical actions. You can't replace these physical actions with knobs and buttons and other things that don't have a strong physical response to your brain, okay? Is what I'm trying to say. When a man or woman, that's not what I meant, when a human shoves a car into park and rips the key out of the ignition, your brain immediately checks two big boxes and you walk out the door. And you know, like internally, physiologically, you know that the car is secured, you know? And you don't need to like start engaging your fine motor skills and all your different brain activities to try and click through little buttons and menus and, oh, you know, did I actually put the car in the right status? And it's not cool. It's too much. Anyways, like I was saying, ergonomics in this thing are incredible. I have very long legs. And as you can see, my legs are flush against the seat because I have plenty of leg room for them to go forward. And honestly, this car sits like a much taller car. This car sits internally like a much taller car than it is externally, if that makes sense. You have a true and proper dead pedal, just really good foot space for a small car. Steering wheel is high quality. That's the first thing I always notice because you're constantly touching a steering wheel. Gauge cluster is nice looking. Dashboard is nice looking. Really, like I said, luxury cars, they've jumped the shark. What is to separate the inside of this Corolla from anything nice and fancy? Not a whole ton. Seat quality, excellent. Great seats. They're very supportive, great ergonomics. My body is very like at ease in this car. Like I just fit very well. I don't always fit great and everything. Again, the visibility of this thing, I'm a huge fan. I like it. It's very, very panoramic. The engine is, it's a 4-cylinder. It's pretty well isolated. That's about all you can do with a 4-cylinder is isolate yourself from it, right? But like I said, the driving quality is just good. And here's where I'll leave it on this one, is with a metaphor. And this is what I came up with the last time I rented one of these Corollas. And this is the best way, in my opinion, to describe these. So I'm a snob for things. And so look at the birdie. That bird looks like more of a snob than me. So we're gonna check him out. But my point is, I'm an eccentric, and I'm a man of fine things, just like this bird. I feel like he's my spirit animal. But So like keyboards, okay? I have a mechanical computer keyboard at home. It's an IBM Model F. It's from the mid 80s. It would cost you $400 for a reproduction, okay, of the keyboard that I use at home. And so I've used lots of keyboards. I've worked for lots of companies and been to lots of schools and just used lots of keyboards in various places, and most of them suck, right? So when you use a nice keyboard all day, it's kind of a nice thing. And in the same way, like obviously my car is a snob car. It's a Lexus LS. It's a V8 top of the line Lexus. It's a snob car. So one day I went to work for a contract engineering firm by the name of Enercon. And it's like I like to say about Enercon, you're not a true Atlanta area nuclear engineer until you've given your Enercon shirt, until you've taken an Enercon shirt to Goodwill. But anyway, so I started working for this company, and on my first day, they issued me a keyboard. It was a Logitech keyboard. And the thing I noticed about that keyboard is, even though like I have like a super, super nice keyboard that I use that Logitech, and I was like, oh, well, for like a cheap crap keyboard, for like just a cheap regular normie person keyboard, this is very high quality. Like I can immediately tell. In the same vein, that's how I feel about these Corollas. As a snob, when I land somewhere and the rental company gives me one of these things, I get in it and I'm like, you know, this might not be like a V8 super heavy, luxurious, cushy mobile, but man, for like a cheap, just standard issue car, this thing just oozes quality.